Welcome to our special report on the evolving situation in the South China Sea. And today, we uncover the recent escalation of tensions between the United States and China, as the U.S. makes a strategic move by deploying troops to a Philippine military base. The South China Sea has long been a hotspot for geopolitical tensions, with multiple countries claiming sovereignty over its resource-rich waters. However, recent events have pushed the region to the brink. It all started when Chinese fired water cannons at Philippine Coast Guard in disputed sea, causing a series of diplomatic clashes between China and neighboring countries, particularly the Philippines. The dispute reached a boiling point when Chinese fired water cannons at Philippine Coast Guard. In response to the growing concerns of its allies, the United States decided to take a bold step. It deployed troops to a Philippine military base, a move that has not only surprised the international community, but also sent a strong message to China. The U.S. deployment signifies a clear stance on maintaining freedom of navigation and supporting its allies in the region. It's a strategic move that aims to deter further aggression and ensure stability. Top Philippine defense officials pushed on Thursday for speeding up the construction of upgrades at military bases, where U.S. troops will have access amid regional tensions with China. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. joined Military Chief Gen. Romeo Brawner Jr. at the Lao Airfield in northern Cagayan Province, one of 9 bases and facilities covered under a defense pact that the two longtime allies agreed to expand in early 2023. Teodoro said there was a need to speed up the development of the sites to serve a total national security picture of our country. We need to build more facilities to increase our operational tempo, so we have to expedite the development of the 5 initial EDCA sites and 4 more Philippine bases with EDCA sites, he told reporters, referring to the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. The militaries of both countries are using the airfield here for joint relief operations in the wake of a typhoon that struck the northern Philippines in late July. Teodoro noted operational limitations and pointed out that Philippine and U.S. personnel had to use barrels to refuel aircraft by hand. The 5 initial EDCA sites approved during previous administrations were the Antonio Bautista Air Base in Palawan, Basa Air Base in Pampanga, Fort Magsaysay in Nueva Ecija, Lumdia Air Base in Cagayan de Oro City, and Benito Ibuan Air Base in Cebu. In April, the Ferdinand Marcos Jr. administration announced 4 additional EDCA sites: Lalo Airfield, Naval Base Camilo Ozias in Sta. Ana, Cagayan, Camp Melchor de la Cruz in Gamu, Isabela, and Balabac Island in Palawan. The development at the EDCA sites is quite slow except for the first 5 sites, so we need to work on the 4 more because they are the most disaster-prone areas actually, Teodoro said. And they are also essential to the integrity of our credible deterrent posture and Philippine territorial security. Teodoro said the EDCA sites are logistical, and the U.S. could use them to help us speed up the operational tempo and response. But the rest of the Philippine assets that will be positioned in the EDCA sites are Philippine national security items for our territorial defense, he said. On Thursday, the U.S. Department of Defense did not immediately respond to a BNR News request for comment on Teodoro's statement. The upgrades are happening amid tensions between the U.S. and China over Taiwan and territorial disputes between the Philippines and China over the South China Sea. Last month, Teodoro said the government was monitoring on a daily basis for a possible Chinese invasion of Taiwan, where 150,000 Filipinos live and work. Their safety could be compromised if China invades the island, which Beijing considers a renegade province. While officials from Manila and Washington have denied that the flurry of activities at Philippine bases had anything to do with Taiwan, analysts have said that the Southeast Asian country's strategic location is central to the American aim of deterring a possible Chinese attack on the island. Some analysts, however, have said it is unlikely that Beijing would carry out its threat of invasion. Former President Rodrigo Duterte, who met with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in China last month, visited President Marcos on Wednesday, according to the presidential palace in Manila. Marcos is seen as rekindling Philippine ties with the U.S., as opposed to Duterte, who was staunchly anti-American and never visited Washington during his 6-year term, 2016 to 22. Former President Rodrigo Duterte went to see President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to talk to him about his recent meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in China. They also discussed other issues. Communications Secretary Chiloy Velicaria Garifil said in a statement. Duterte gave Marcos some good pieces of advice, Garifil said, without elaborating. She said Duterte had met with Xi in his private capacity and was not an official representative of the Philippine government. The Chinese Foreign Ministry previously said Xi appreciates the strategic choice Mr. Duterte made to improve relations with China during his presidency. On Thursday, Teodoro said the discussion between Marcos and Duterte was very productive, but said he was not in a position to divulge details. While the U.S. deployment has garnered support from some quarters, it has also raised concerns about the potential consequences. Some experts argue that this move could further escalate tensions and provoke China's response. Diplomatic efforts are underway to find a peaceful resolution to the crisis. International leaders are engaging in discussions to de-escalate tensions and prevent an all-out conflict. As the situation in the South China Sea continues to develop, the world watches with bated breath. The deployment of U.S. troops to a Philippine military base marks a critical juncture in this complex geopolitical landscape. Only time will tell how these events will shape the future of the region and global politics. Thank you for joining us in this in-depth exploration of the escalating tensions in the South China Sea. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Until next time.